What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy, Mr. Meyer, with the fire, here to share ideas and take the collective vibration higher. And my sole intention is to reconcile all paradox with love and truth. I love you. And this is a special video because apparently I'm about to tell you something crazy. Mercury, Scorpio, 9th house. What Spirit said. You're not doing it wrong if nobody knows what the fuck you're doing. So that's definitely something to think about. I saw this in a reading today. I saw this in this video today. You may have a plan about how life or how you are supposed to go and do, and that might not be correct. So maybe your judgments of yourself or your fear of judgment from others might be a little bit exaggerated. Something to think about. I love you guys from the depths of my soul. So what you have to expect from this video is a little something different. This is episode 16 of Mars Day with Mark. And that's a weekly breakdown of the astrology. So Tuesday to Tuesday. This is September 26th to October 3rd. I almost said March with my dyslexic ass. I read 3. But yeah, September 26th, October 3rd. We got a whole week ahead of us. And let's take a deep breath. Because I'm in this energy right now, guys. And I'd like to not be. Yes, let's take a deep breath. So I'm going to give you guys a thorough, structured report to the week's astrology. It's Libra season, so we're going through big changes, big adaptations, and I also feel called to do this video differently. You know, I'm going to definitely be relying on my intuition more than anything else because I've taken not as many notes, and I honestly would love to speak from the heart more than read from my mother effing papers. I've got some magic that I want to include in this video, so you're a lucky duck that you stepped up onto this one. It's fall season. We drinking the pick-me juice. It was pick me up, but I said, nah, just say what you mean and mean what the fuck you say. It's pick me. I'm trying to be the most picked person. The most picked. Well, never mind. But basically, take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth with me. Ooh. And the priest is about to motherfucking lead us in sacred space. Oh yes, I'm about to turn up the place. So we cast our circle to create a space beyond space and a time beyond time. And we charge this circle as a temple of perfect love and trust, where divine will is sovereign and supreme. So mote it be. We charge our circle to extend and protect against all harmful, disruptive, and unwanted forces on all levels for our best and highest good. And we call upon the goddess, we call upon the God, and the great spirit, the 3 in 1, the 1 in 3, as it was, as it is, as it ever shall be. And we invite our spirit guides within this space to help us receive this message for our best and highest good, and let this work be for the best and highest good of all. And this candle is already consecrated for total protection and to absolutely destroy evil. If you could read it, that's what this is about. Some evil won't destroy itself, so we work our protection. And we consecrate this candle to bring protection on all levels for those watching this video, and to completely remove and destroy all evil forces surrounding, within, or attached to us for the best and highest good of all. And we add another layer of protection on top of this protection. And I want you to see it, visualize the protection and the boundaries of your aura, and breathe life and energy into your aura to make sure that no unwanted forces can penetrate it. This is a good time for cleansing and clearing. I'm gonna go with the Saturn oil as well. Shout out to Melissa Rose. I appreciate you, Libra Queen. Hopefully you get to see this. If not, she knows I rock with her. Shout out Melissa Rose on TikTok. We call upon Saturn's energy to boost our candle and destroy any unwanted forces on all dimensions of our being. Om Sham Shri Shanaishtaraya Namaha. One Saturn mantra for you. I would recommend you hit that 108 times a day, and I'm not even kidding. I wish I was exaggerating or joking. Blessed be everybody. I'm gonna pull this back so we can actually see it. Yeah. Mr. Maya with the fire here to share ideas, take the vibe higher. So I have a bit of astrology to talk to you about, and I'm gonna pull this into probably a little bit closer, because this energy is necessary. I can feel a lot of interference in the collective right now. A lot of just nasty energy, man. The low vibration will always be a part of Earth because it's a duality plan. So we always just have to learn or know how to work with dense energies and move through them, because I've been going through my own personal subjective things, you guys, but I also just feel that the energy in the collective right now is fucking heavy, man. It feels like moving through mud. It's fucking nuts, dude. So props to you, more power to you, more peace to you when it comes to you living your journey and embodying your great work, because fuck, man, this shit is crazy. Pardon my French, but I'm just trying to speak how I feel, for real. So I'm gonna, I think, go a little bit simpler on the planets, and then we're gonna take it back through again and kind of hit this layer by layer, is what I'm seeing, is how I want to do this. So this is the chart of the moment, and got oil all over my hands, so hold up, y'all. The moon is conjunct Saturn as I'm making this video, so this shit is about to go hard, I'm telling you. So this is the chart of the moment. You can ignore the geography, and what I mean is the houses, like 1 through 12. Ignore the clock face. The planets are what I'm trying to show you, and then their aspects between each other. So this is as I'm filming it. 1 week from now, the planets are going to be like this. Fuck, I can't believe I've done this. All right, that's what they're going to look like. So we've got a little bit of transition. If you were to like pause the video and be like, boop, boop. Can you spot the differences between these two pictures? One of these things is not like the other. There's many changes that happen within the course of a week, and I'm going to tell you about them, and I hope you're excited, man. Let's get a 1-card pull for the collective right quick. Spirit said, let me say something crazy and powerful. Mercury, Scorpio in the 9th house. Pardon me. I'm not going to say, I want to say so much about that, but that's not a 1-card pull. It's definitely not. But I want to shout out the Libras really quick as I'm getting started. And I just want to say big, big, big love to the Libras in my life and in the world. It's your birthday. Turn up. Let me know if you are a Libra. Like, what do you have in Libra? Because regardless if you are a Libra, you have the constellation, and you do well to know what it's like. In the last video, I talked about this, where you'll have Libra in a house. You may have planets, you may not, but it'll be in a house 1 through 12. And then you'll also have a planet in your 7th house, which is what Libra traditionally rules over. And if you look at the Venus in your chart and then the ruling planet of your 7th house, you'll see a lot about how your Libra energy works. And Libra is all about balance, relatability, compromise, communication on some level. That's an air sign. And this is the first card I got, all right? I know you saw, but let me show you this card. This card is usually called Defeat, 5 of Swords, which means overcoming with intellect, change in the mind, 5 of Air. And you can see in this picture, 2 people have quit their job. This motherfucker is kind of proud because he's like, amateurs, fuck y'all. Y'all don't know that you have 2 hands and you can't carry 5 swords at once. So he's not tripping about the swords on the ground. He's like, hey, y'all might not be cut out for being a squire. You might just have to bake bread or sell shit at the market. I don't know. But you see, that's because of the colors. Bruh is grounded, red and green. He's got an open heart. He's grounded, and he just knows that. What I take from this is adversity builds character. You know, this is about not throwing in the towel or being more systematic, outsmarting problems, basically. And I don't think we've been doing that as well as we need to, perhaps. I say perhaps take the sting off of it, because it's like, yeah, this is saying that the mentality needs to change, and there's been a resistance to it. And some of these changes are literally going to take time as well, is what I'm feeling in my heart of hearts, my soul of souls, is that some of these changes we might have been working on for a long time, but they may have higher implications in life. So being ahead of your time is not necessarily as fun as it sounds. Because one thing that's really the result of it, and I'm feeling this in my Uranus energy, is like, you may see a higher version and vision of truth for yourself, for other people in the world, but if you have not accepted it and embraced it fully in yourself, you got no business trying to tell others of the world what the fuck to do, man. You know, and that's kind of a hard thing to accept sometimes when you're trying your best and trying to help other people, is that you got to genuinely help yourself before you help anybody else. And that's really the way this goes. So, last week was interesting, guys. We had the sun trine Pluto for the majority of the week, and there aren't many sun aspects this week. So what I want to say is that last week was more so about an unconscious growth that was really shaping and molding our character, sun trine Pluto, and really evolution coming through the self-image and the self-concept, and, you know, personal success coming quite easily through confronting darkness or being unconsciously led towards important issues. And I see this week kind of being a little bit more challenging because the sun is square to Vesta right now, a 90-degree angle. So we have the sun in Libra, bada boom, bada bing. And then we've got Vesta in Cancer right here. There she is. So that's almost 90-degree angles. That's what that red square is about. And Vesta represents divine will, represents purity and a sacred will, the sanctity of our temple. Vesta is the goddess Hestia, and she is all about cleaning, healing, devoting yourself to the work, whatever that ends up being. Usually it serves your community on some level, some shape or form. That's what Vesta in its core is about. So what's this gonna mean is that today, because it's the perfect square, but I would say you'll see this through the week, truly. This week is gonna be about cleaning up your act, quite honestly. And that's gonna mean something entirely fucking different for everybody in the world. It's about cleaning up your ego structure. It's about cleaning up your self-image and your self-esteem. And that's a lifelong journey, let me tell you. But what's even crazier about this square is that it puts so much fucking pressure that it may come to be self-defeating at some point. So you need to be mindful of your limits because they're meant to protect you. All right. And before I even put the herb on this bitch, man, I'm consecrating the joint. These are Blazy Susans, by the way, because Libra energy, bad bitches smoke Blazy Susans. But I'm consecrating the joint with the energy of Vesta in Cancer, square sun in Libra, to be for the best and highest good of all. And so it is. And I could say a lot more, but I'm just going to pull the energy in, quite honestly, because I intend to let loose, quite honestly, and do everything with an intention as well, is really what that talks about. Sun in Libra is a need to balance and relate and connect. And Cancer Vesta is about a need to purify the heart space and to be intentional within our connections and to remain on a level of purity when it comes to our emotions and within our family as well. So, like I said, every one of us is going to have a different experience with this energy because of our sun and our moon and our Venus and all the energies corresponding to the Venus, Libra, Vesta, Cancer moon energy. But what I see about cleaning up the act, because if what's most personal is universal, a big part of this talks about removing guilt or removing a shame that you might hold upon yourself. Like, think about it this way. Vesta square the sun says, I need to clean myself up very badly, but that also assumes I'm filthy. You know what I mean? And that might not be the most healthy assumption. You know, there may be truth to it, but that attitude could be harmful. And there's a heavy ingress this week. I was going to tell you guys, when it comes from planet to planet, there's not a lot changing in the planets, but guys, there's a lot bubbling beneath the surface. And I just want to say that I'm glad you clicked on this video, because deep release is happening in the collective, and that shit is quite painful. And there's a lot to let go of, because when we think about Venus square moon energy, which is this aspect, and I'm repeating it over and over and over again because I want y'all to feel me as I talk about these things that we're all feeling, so you can triangulate. This means cleansing our insecurities, the way that we find comfort within the world, in the ways that we've been conditioned by our family. And Libra sun is saying that a lot of this shit has been pure vanity. It's been appearances. It's beauty that runs damn near skin deep or surface level. So the real beauty, the real fulfillment, the real love and nourishment is coming from the sacred womb and flame within, the depths of your heart space. So I see a lot of this is challenging self-image, but also just assumptions about life in general. There's a lot going on with the goddess of healing. And really, what we're called to do with this energy is to maintain a spiritual practice and to not wrap your ego so much into it that you put unnecessary pressures into it, or you let other people's judgment stop you from your damn spiritual practice. Like I said earlier, I think this is a deeper message than I thought it was, but you're not doing it wrong if nobody knows what the fuck you're doing. And it would be a high level of audacity to look at somebody else's spiritual journey and be like, I know what you need for your development. And you may be right. You may have been in some people's situation and circumstance, but how do you know their soul? How do you know why they're on earth? You might not be on earth for the same fucking reason, you know? Probably wouldn't be. And really, if you think about it, God would learn nothing by putting you all on the earth for the same reason at the same time. So that's crazy. That's something to think about. But this speaks a lot about purifying your mind, with Libra being an air sign. Spirit, bring us more clarity about Vesta square sun. This is about seeing yourself as a leader or a strong person within your community and taking it to heart when you aren't able to serve to the best of your ability, which can be kind of frustrating. I think one thing that's meant to be paid attention to is that the sun really represents our hero archetype, our solar consciousness. It's really about how we feel success and how we find our sense of purpose, you know? So I see within this week is that there's really going to be a need to be our best self, or to feel like we are really helping others. Even though we're in, this is crazy, guys, because I just want to use keywords to put this down on something. Like, we are definitely in Libra. We're 3 degrees right now. We'll be at 10 at the end of the week. But it feels like we're still in Virgo because of this goddamn square. Because a lot of people would say that Vesta rules Virgo and the sun is square Vesta. So it's like, bro, Libra season right now is like Virgo part 2. I'm not even fucking kidding you. You might be seeing the seasonal transition and the climate change and the desire to be in a relationship and connect to other people. You're probably seeing that, but this Virgo energy, man, 100%, it's Virgo fucking energy. And the worst part about Virgo energy is being too goddamn nervous, being too uptight, having too much control over shit, and then just nothing gets done and everybody is having a bad time. So let's not fucking do that. Let's get far the fuck away from that energy and really connect to the mind body. Because this is the feminine Mercury. This is about your internal impulses and making them make sense. So when I see Sigil of Avalon come out my deck, I just take this as actual magical practice. It's very important at this point. Not just a spiritual practice, like I said, but a magical practice is going to be very powerful for y'all. And one of the best magical routines or acts of magic for anybody, starting magic or just doing it, is protection and banishing. So I do it for the principle and also to share the energy with you guys, man. It's simple. You just make it a part of your routine and your life will change because of it. And like I'm saying, you don't need to take shame into your life and heart with this square if you don't want to light protection candles. If you don't want to do that, it's like, my path is my path, but I'm telling you it will work for me. So I just want to be a reflection of this shit and really mean what the fuck I say. You feel me? And I'm just in this chapter of radical authenticity. I don't know if you guys remember me telling you, but I'm in about a 2-month-long shadow work ritual. So I'm actively calling up repressed emotion to work with it. And that's Vesta square sun energy itself, cleaning up your act. Lilith Virgo energy too. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I feel a level of embarrassment right now. And I will be honest, because I told you guys I was going to stop smoking. And this is also very relevant to Vesta, because I see how this ties in. So I'm glad I'm saying this now before I move on. I feel embarrassed right now because I told y'all I was gonna quit, and I did quit for a long time. And it actually helped me tremendously to cleanse my lungs and my heart and release a lot of stored emotion. And it was really an amazing thing. You know, so somewhere around the time Venus went square Jupiter, I was able to change those values with some self-justification. I was able to go back on my word and feel good about it, which is weird, but at the same time, it's like this energy in the collective also talks about not making oaths, just not doing it. That's as simple as I could put it, because it's very important to keep your word, because when you don't keep your word, you send yourself the message that truth isn't important, and it's impossible to respect yourself under those conditions, and that's crazy. So I'm glad I'm able to call it out and just not hold it, because if I don't express it, some of y'all will be able to know the elephant in the room and see it and feel it in my emotions, and just like, not only does it send yourself the message that truth isn't important, other people begin to notice that shit as well. So that's very important to talk about, is that, you know, when you say something over and over again and you don't follow through with it, it just tells people not to trust you. And it's a really bad message to send to other people. And I found this conflict with it because the reason I started smoking was from my healing journey on an emotional level. And that was years and years and years ago. And, you know, while I had quit smoking, I'm still using the edibles. I'm not even really off the substance, just the form of intake. So I kind of realized that the oath I had made with myself to not intake it that way had become a little bit self-defeating, because then I started, you know, I don't got to get into details about how my habit evolved and morphed, but basically I was able to realize that, you know, if I'm just more intentional with these things, that's actually a big part of it, because I realized that the smoking mechanical part is really bad for my lungs if I do it so much more than I breathe, so much more than I do other things, and if I don't put control over it. But I also learned that it's not as big of a problem as I thought it was. When it comes to the actual blockages in my heart, a lot of it's more emotional than physical. But I made this long drawn out in about me. I'm a Leo, so my bad, my good. But at the same time, I just want y'all to maybe reflect and consider the times when you make agreements to yourself, when you make agreements to other people, when you make agreements to the world, and it might not be anything that anybody needed you to do. It might have been some bullshit your ego made you want to do with your son. You know what I mean? So that's something to think about, is that God loves you, you love you, and you might be trying to impress everybody, and that might be a sweet thing to do. But at the end of the day, you are made in God's image, so you just have to impress yourself and really determine what you want out of life, go after it, and maintain a sense of pride and positive self-image because of your effort, you know? And I think if you have a good scope on your life and you genuinely give your best, it's very easy to have pride in yourself. And I think while that sounds so simple, it's easy to forget, man. So I just hope I'm speaking to someone's soul. And I will just say another thing I heard. Shout out to David Banner. You are not growing if you're not contradicting yourself. So it frightens me to give people advice that would mislead them. But at the same time, I'm a Mercury motherfucker, dude. So it's like I'm realizing the longer I live that a big part of my life is about throwing tricks on people, throwing puzzles on people, mind games. Like, here's the game, you're gonna figure it out, and then you're gonna come to a conclusion. And that's why I gave you the game in the first place. Like, the answers are in the game. So you might be looking at me like, what do I do? But I'm like, I just gave you the thing to investigate. That was the whole fucking point, you know? I've said this before, I'm gonna say it again, just so we're on the same page, my friends. I don't have all the fucking answers. I sure wish I did, but if I had them all, I would have no reason to be here. So that's why I'm here, certainly. I want to read this to you guys, man. I saw a deeper thing. This is powerful. So I hope you guys are fucking with this style of video, because I think for the last 15, I've been like, I gotta get the astrology out. I'm like, let me just chill the fuck out, man. Let me let my heart loose, man. Good God. Speaking of let my heart loose, this is for the collective, guys. When Spirit says work on our spiritual practice, this Vesta energy, before you move on to Moon and things of that nature, the Vesta, and this is so funny that that's a V. Yeah, for real. Steheki. That's the Reiki symbol of mental balance, emotional balance. So a good thing about magical and spiritual practices is getting a good mind-body connection and realizing what the fuck is going on and being psychically attuned and perceptive and knowing what's coming and what's going. And that's going to give you clarity. And that's beautiful. So truth comes with that, Aquarius energy. And also, Aquarius is the truth. Did I just say that twice? It was so nice. Aquarius is the occult. It's all that knowledge. It's that discipline of knowledge. It's crazy. Astrology comes from this shit. Tarot comes from this. You know, everything that's based on objective reality, fixed air, comes from Aquarius energy. And this also shows us how to direct our emotions as well, and to use our life force energy for the greatest good of all. So a big thing I think about before I even picked this up was that when you do the magic, this actually initiates a part of your great work, and you end up finding your original essence, like who the fuck you are, why are you on the planet. Your unique individuality sets the tone, stage, and direction for your purpose. Leo is opposite Aquarius. These two are polar, and this is my will be done and thy will be done. At the same time, that is the sacred flame. That is how you play your role in God's world. So that's what that's about. This is Halil. Halil. I haven't trained with these symbols, but I do feel them even as I look at them. And I mean, this one, of course, speaks to connection. I was trying to find the book. I'm like, where is the book? I would read about it, but I'm just going to leave that as connection. And then we got Mercury, which is going to expand your knowledge base and connect your intellect. And also, Mercury is just pure magic. This is going to help you program your environment and everything within it, and learn to see every act of perception as an act of magic. Like I'm telling you guys, you learn that through the building of the altar and the consecration of tools and the fire, water, air, earth, that these things are manifest physically, but they're representations of things that you have inside of you. So it's really perception is the magic itself. I'm not even kidding. The moment I look at y'all, I cast a spell. And you're lucky I'm a good witch, you know? And another thing about this is it helps you truly understand your energy and other people's energy. This is the symbol we use for disconnecting from others. That's about boundaries, man. That's about knowing who the fuck you are. And these go hand in hand. It's about knowing who the fuck you are so you know who the fuck you're not. And what you're supposed to do is about embodying your true will. And that's what Pluto's about. That was the last card about this. A true spiritual evolution. This is about becoming your greatest version and playing the role that your soul put you on earth for. Embodying God's will, accelerating divine will for the collective. Guys, if you're still watching this video at 28 minutes, I just want to say you got a spiritual wealth within you. And you know this. And that means nothing can hold you. And if you play your role, you are loose in your harness or calm in your harness, man, God's going to exalt the fuck out of you. 2828. Exalt the fuck out of you for being the example of what the world needs. And that comes from true individuation, where you shut yourself off to the world while being honest with the world, so you can go off intuition. This is da'ath, like truly the Gnostic experience. Nobody knows, but you take your principles on and do something with it. So you're on the road of no guarantees, but you embrace that willfully because you know any other path is going to lead you to consensus, blindness, and fear. So I hope I'm making sense to the ones who felt that shit in their heart, because that's expansion for the world, for real. And it takes bravery for that. Bravery is not the absence of fear, it's courage in the midst of it. So I want to say power to y'all, truly. Power to y'all, peace to y'all, and prosperity to y'all, because damn. I know the people who, at this, bro, like, because I know the shit I'm talking. And if y'all resonate with me, man, we're fighting the same fight. We're on the same team, so to speak. Not to create division, but to create vision. It's to create purpose, to create a, how can you fight the good fight if you don't know an enemy, so to speak? Resolution of paradox. Come on, man. Fuck you, mean. So, I mean, let's keep going now. Because I see I see one other thing, man. This before I even really get off this one. Vesta and Cancer, this is also about family, and there's a real need to venerate your ancestors to get off this bitch. You know, to take, because like really, this is so funny. The Venus spirit. I was using, a lot of us use this metaphor. When you incarnate into a human family, you actually have an obligation as a human species to move the ball forward. No joke. Take whatever your family gave you and learn from it and do better. That's an actual responsibility. It's an actual obligation. That's one thing that isn't stressed enough in our culture. I'm not even kidding. I think we all kind of know this unconsciously and do our best for the most part, but some people don't. And this is something I need to call in the collective because of the this energy, this L that some people might be taking right now. And I just want to say one other thing before I say this, guys, is that if it's even slightly possible, it's entirely worth looking into. And a lot of us are in a very evolved path and working on going forward, but you would also do well to search yourself for all these energies, okay? And try to see it within you so you can identify within others. But basically, while most of us, I would like to think, have a nice spirit and want to see the best for our children, there is an attitude in the collective which says that life was so hard for me, I want other people to suffer just as much as I did. And it gives you a sense of pride, pleasure, or gratification to yourself. It's sun energy. So it's like, it's manipulative and it's weak and it's angry. And we need to know that anger, weakness, manipulation, these energies are neutral in themselves, but how we use them determines how it's going to play out. So we need to redirect that better. Be good to our children, truly. And be good to your pets. Be good to every life under your control. And really recognize the pains of your life and the suffering that's been created. Reconcile it, learn the patterns that come from it, and do your best to interrupt those patterns in a positive way when it comes to the life that you bring in. Even the way you nurture your friends, even the way you nurture your community, it's all an act of self-expression, which is really important to think about, is that we inherit these patterns from our environment and we just do the best we can damn near unconsciously in our formative years. And those first 7, you know, a big portion of that, your brain is really developing on a base level, but you're going for your first Saturn square. So you're understanding your objective reality a little bit better in the first 7 years than you do for the rest of the latter part of your life, no joke. And what's crazy about that on a metaphysical level, guys, is that in the first 7 years, you're actually taking on so much imprinting from your soul's karma, no joke, and your spiritual purpose and your emotional memory. That's getting imprinted into your physical because you haven't yet made those connections with the objective world, the Saturn world, for real. Something to think about, man. No joke. So you want to think about what happened in your childhood, you know? If you're like me, you might have repressed memories because some shit could have been real bad. Who knows? You know, and even if it doesn't go that way, I just want to say that you would do well to even flip that script and look at the great things that you inherited and how you want to implement those as well. And, you know, search for the unconsciousness, bring consciousness to that so you can really create a more evolved life for the world. Because evolution happens through everything, and that just means we got to make better families. And I think I've driven this one hard as fuck for 33 minutes, but I can't stress that shit enough, guys. This is about really loving the work. And that's not always going to be the most fun. It's not always going to be the work that you want to do, but loving it nonetheless. And I think the challenge here with this square is to make your self-image a reflection of your service in some way. And this is going to mean extending your ego and limiting it in a masterful way to be able to feel of use, service, and value and of success all the time. And if you can do that in this transition, man, life is going to be a breeze. That's what I'm seeing, is that this is kind of going to be the hardest one. So we got a full moon this week. The moon right now is in Pisces. It's conjunct the Saturn. Shit going hard. So that's going to say that the moon is waxing It's about to go opposite the Libra sun. And that's just going to mean that it's the peak of the lunar cycle on Friday. Friday's the full moon, the 29th, and that's beautiful. Let me show you the chart of the full moon. And I didn't see that many, well, there are a couple aspects for this full moon, but either way the aspects go, the full moon in Aries, which is, and this isn't the exact chart, but you can kind of see the sun in Libra at the bottom, moon in the same sign as Chiron in the North Node at the top. Full moon in Aries, pardon me, this is about self-reflection. This is about looking back at who you are and trying to see, how does that work in the world? Am I the asshole? Am I the problem? Like, that's kind of what it's like. Is it me? And the focus, like we said, is going to be about relationships damn near every Libra season. So you do well to look at your chart based on houses and look at where this full moon is going to be. What sign, what house is opposite Libra? Because that's going to be where you're going to be letting go of a lot of energy and a lot of fears, insecurities, and maybe even connections when it comes to that part of your life, literally. And if these things stay in your life, they're going to go through an evolution. And it's crazy. Uranus and Taurus. So this is a part of it as well. I almost said jump the gun, and I did now, goddamn. But, you know, this is one of those circumstances where I'm learning in real time that nothing would have been wrong if I didn't express that my ideas of it was different. So maybe Mark just talks too fucking much, man. But sometimes what the collective needs is words. So either way it goes, we ain't gonna stop, but we are gonna learn. This one was an upgrade of the throat chakra, healing. And mantra is a great way to do this. And if you aren't doing mantra, I would just say again, it's a really great way to open up your throat chakra and to really open up your whole aura. Like, no joke, mantra can open up all the chakras and raise your whole frequency. And I don't think it's really important what mantra you do, as long as you pick a mantra with an intention and make it a part of your practice. And I like the Sanskrit mantras because they carry a lot of power, just based on the sounds, just based on the vibrations, the way the language actually is structured. I love the Sanskrit mantras, but basically, I was also taken from this that you can sing, you can use affirmation, but it's really the power of the voice as our ability to create as humans. That's really where our invocation lies. No joke. Because anything created, any sound we speak is going to vibrate, it's going to travel externally, and that in itself becomes a form of being. Confirmation cat. I'm telling you guys, she's the one. And there's come here, baby. There's messages when it comes to the pets, the familiars, the sixth house. I'm stretching her out for a sec. Look at her big old belly. Oh my God. Yeah. But she gets a tense back, no joke. So I gently like to stretch her back a little bit. We have a deep psychic connection, man. That's a familiar. And I'm gonna talk about it now. Fuck it. Cats, pets. Pets are important, man, because the pet is basically your micro in the macro world. It's your microcosm in the macrocosmic world. You basically get to be the god of your pet's universe. You get to be their operator. You get to be the one who provides them life, you know? So you got to remember there's a soul in the body, you know? And that's beautiful. Everything is spirit. So we got a huge change coming. It's a 9-month transition, Lilith and Virgo. And Virgo represents pets. It represents our service to the world. We were talking about Vesta for a hot minute, man. So all of this shit is going to be activated. And a part of that does reflect how we treat animals. No joke. Our service. And our children, too. And even ourselves. Like, it's our service to the world. But the crazy thing is that you can have magical pets. You can have familiars. Certain pets that might come into your life for a spiritual purpose. And if you have those relationships, you want to nurture them very much and share magic with your pets, you know, do journey work with your pets and do protection on them, do healing on them. make sure that you take care of them and look out for them, because animals have medicine in their spirit and humans have medicine in their spirit as well. So we interact with these animals too. So even if you don't have a deep psychic connection with your pet yet, I just want to say, based on the nature of y'all being souls and bodies and having each other in a relationship, what's crazy is that if you just pay the fuck attention, you're going to have a lot of information exchange both ways. One way I like to give an example is that, you know, you were taught to nurture by your family and your experience of nurturing and conditioning. So it's like that inadvertently shapes and molds how you're going to take care of an animal. And if you look at the way that you take care of your animal, if you psychoanalyze yourself taking care of your animal, you'll start to see the way that you were raised. No joke. And it's pretty cool. So this interaction with an animal, with a pet, with animals in general, this can be a really good way to embrace and evolve our humanity as a species, which is really cool. And for my witches out there, I encourage you to get creative when it comes to your pets. And I want to show y'all something I started doing, and it's really cool. Like me and Mira, we go hard when it comes to the magic and the energy work. We stay connected because we're besties. But I got a new tarot deck the other day. It's the Tarot of the White Cats. Shout out to this tarot deck, dude. It's so cool. They're all white cats, but they're people. Oh my God, they're people. So I'll pull her cards, man. She got her cat tree sits next to my desk, and I will literally like just pull her a card and I'll set it next to her. And the intention is there. So like, I don't think I gotta explain it anymore. You guys will see how that'll play out. It's gonna be really awesome because she's learning the tarot unconsciously. This is kind of like putting the Spanish tapes on in your baby's crib. You know, that's really what it is. She drinking this protection in. Girl, you better not. Did you literally lick that? Oh, girl. Well, she won't do that again. Oh, goodness. It looked like a sniff. I hope that, well, I mean, like, either way, she'll be all right. I guess she needed to really take that in. Goodness. Yeah, protect your cats. Protect your animals. Give them some spell work. So Lilith and Virgo, that's a deep one. We already know that there's going to be a deep release and really about integrating your purpose this coming Friday. Lilith and Virgo, I want to talk about this first, and then I might go hit the other aspects in the chart. Lilith and Virgo is a 9-month transit, you guys, and it's going to ingress from Leo to Virgo on Tuesday of this following week. So that's something to look forward when it comes to the end of this week when you're watching this video, October 3rd. The apogee of the moon really switches constellations, and the apogee is the furthest the moon can be from the earth. We kind of call this the dark side of the moon, even though it's not necessarily the dark side. It's just the furthest out it could be. And the moon in astrology is going to represent our feelings and our emotions and how we respond to life and how our impulses basically work. The moon shows our sense of comfort, our sense of security, and also how we understand our needs being met. The moon can reflect a deep connection to our childhood and also more specifically our mother. So when it comes to the Lilith energy, the black moon, this always talks about the collective shadow. This talks about the hidden emotional needs that we have. This talks about repressed emotion as well. This talks about everything that we weren't able to feel. And it's crazy because we have a personal shadow and a collective shadow. And Lilith kind of talks about the amalgamation of it all. It's a collective shadow, but it comes up personally through all of our transit. So it's been personal shit for a minute. With Lilith and Leo for the last 9 months, you guys, we've been expelling personal issues when it comes to self-love, purpose, and I just want to say strength as well. We've been going through a lot of creative adjustments with Lilith and Leo. And it goes even deeper because the 6th house energy now, rather than working on ourself, it's all about really working on ourself. Rather than just expressing and being who we are, it's changing and adapting it now. That's Leo, Virgo energy. So Lilith in Virgo for 9 months, this is deep work, you guys. And I'm going to make another video about Libra season. I really want to kind of talk about how this all is going to go down. But you guys know Mars is already here. It's going to be a different Libra season this time around for sure. Not just because of debilitated Mars, but because Venus is really the fall of Virgo. So with Lilith going down here and we're going into this Venus sun sign, it's like there is a spotlight cast on the deep problems, the deep things that need to be resolved. And Virgo represents our nervous system. It's the internal Mercury, the feminine version of Mercury. So it's about our inner impulses, how we understand the mind-body connection, and our health, our sense of well-being. But it also does reflect our work. It reflects basically how we're able to focus and intuitively grasp and understand the processes that we're involved with on a daily basis and manage time and all that, you know. Mercury is a powerful planet. So you got to understand, man, when Lilith transits any sign, this is going to be collective repression that's being moved up. And that's just going to say any problems that come from Virgo are going to be dealt with. You know, I'm trying to keep it simple so we could all see this collectively, because that's going to say things like deep insecurities, feelings of guilt, feelings of shame, feeling like you're not good enough, because there's that deep need to improve. And that's a great thing, but the assumption that can create it 9 times out of 10 can be very negative. So that's the challenge with this 9 months, is that if I could keep it simple, quite honestly, it's like people are going to have to come to the deep realization there's nothing fucking wrong with them. And under those circumstances of acceptance, then we're going to be able to move forward in growth-oriented and healthy ways. But until then, man, it's going to be a lot of working and busying ourselves and being nervous and guilty and shameful and projecting a lot of weird shit on other people and blaming and casting stones on other people that aren't the problem. So let's not do that. But I honestly feel like there's going to be damn near nothing different when it comes to this, except that you'll see it reflected in your physical health and your job. And, you know, your pets will be teaching you interesting things this time. And I just kind of felt that the image I saw is that there's sharks in the water, right underneath the water. There's probably even sea monsters under there as well, but you need to jump the fuck in. And it's the last thing you'd ever fucking do, but it's like, hey, your fear holds the power that you need. The illusion is that you're not equipped, because you imagined those things, you created them, as I said it, you know? So it's deep work and it's deep healing. And that's the perfect thing about this Lilith energy, is that I can't say I understand it better than other people, but I feel like I have a deep knowledge of the Lilith energy, because I grew up with it conjunct my moon. It's on my moon every day. But when we willfully and deliberately connect to the Lilith energy, we can actually find a balancing and a healing and in a deep resolution of needs that were generally unconscious, and that's going to create wholeness. So when it comes to Lilith and Virgo, there's also going to be the Pisces archetype that you need to consider, like, transcending. And as soon as this is breaking down the brokenness, crossing the abyss and returning, repairing your mold, you know, because what I take is that you can't lose anything as the universe. You are always whole. But when you need to incarnate on Earth or some other realm, you need to experience that duality, and that could give you the experience of brokenness, and you generally not want to experience that. So when we're here, we are going to have to make sure that we use our consciousness and our shamanic tools, basically like our water, our air, to return back to wholeness, to transcend and release. This is about the magical work as well. Libra is about balance, and that's what's needed right now, because on one hand, I'm seeing that there is a need to forgive, to move forward. but there's also a need to stand on principle, a need to assert yourself, a need to go after what's right by your standards and judgment, because that's an obligation on some level. And then I see on this is crazy, and this talks about love being a weakness at this point. And take what resonates, of course, but when I was looking at this, before I even pulled this out, I felt like I was seeing the North Node in Aries, the South Node in Libra. That's what I'm seeing here, basically, is that it's Mars energy that's bringing us forward, and that depositor is Mars in Libra, but it's Aries energy. So that's like doing the right thing intellectually and not letting your empathy or compassion or understanding of somebody harm you, because that's not right. I could simplify it with self-preservation, but that's really important, is you can't let others dominate you. You can't let the world dominate you either. You can't let anything dominate you, man. You gotta hold your space, man. It's like strong love. This is Venus Capricorn energy, 7 Venus. It's like, or Venus Libra energy too, if you really think about it. That's crazy. But I took Saturn and Libra from that. So that's perfect love, perfect trust. That's needing to protect the love. That's principle. If you can't protect your love, you might not be able to defend your love or be able to maintain it for real. So this is cool. I see the Ankh, I see the moon, and I see Earth, and I just see that there's infinite regenerative powers from the planet that we live on. So that's really beautiful, guys, is that Lilith in Virgo is going to mean a deep need to slow the fuck down for these next 6 months, no joke. And we'll divine about it, we'll talk about it. We will literally be seeing it play out after next week, but I just want to prepare y'all for what's coming. So you can really sense this part of your body, because it's going to be there in transit for a hot minute. Then it's going to go into Libra, and then Scorpio, and etc. But be a really good thing to be mindful from and for, because it's going to bring you a deep cleansing and healing. That's Kether, that's Malkuth. That's going to help you integrate the energies better at this time. No joke, no joke, no joke. I feel like we could do a journey to this energy and see what it plays out like. I would recommend that. That seems like a really good idea. That's what my spirit tells me, is that would be a really great way to understand this, is to take a journey to it. So one thing about the moon, I want to say, because there's really not too much changing in the solar system. When it comes to these outer planets that are retrograde, like Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, they haven't moved damn near a degree at all, you know, throughout the week. And Saturn is also retrograde, it's not moving. Jupiter is retrograde, it's not moving. So a lot is standing still when it comes to external motion, but that's going to talk about inner revision, you know, and that's beautiful, strategizing. So when I look at this full moon, what's kind of crazy about this one, guys, is that Venus is going to be square Uranus again. This is going to be that third and final square because of the Venus retrograde. So you should be able to see Venus and Leo and that red square going up to Uranus. That energy talks about a need for freedom. It talks about liberation within love and desperate change, quick change, erratic change, instability. It could be rapid gain as well. And gain is change that requires sacrifice, so remember that. But another thing, Mars at the same time will be in conjunct to Uranus. So if you were looking at a chart, you would see it, that Mars is in conjunct to Uranus. And this is where the Saturn shit kicks in, man, is that the in conjunction from Libra to Taurus naturally talks about the confusion and disparity of boundaries when it comes to relationships and the projections we impose upon others, which I don't want to say immediately, but inevitably get crushed and defeated which forces both people back in on themselves to meet their own needs and become more self-reliant before that opposition forms. So that's a big part of this cycle, is that, I think I said this before in a different breakdown, but this shit right here, Libra season, is usually cuffing season, and I don't want to tell people it's not, but on an internal, speculative note, this time right now is really about you. It's really about figuring your shit out, so you don't project that shit onto somebody else and think that it's their shit. That's really what I'm seeing. Because that's not going to help any fucking body. That's actually going to create a lot of harm, dude. And it can create, listen, man, it can take a long fucking time to undo the harm we create unconsciously. So guide yourself with principle, guide yourself with virtue. And shit, man, create healing for yourself in the world. Life can be beautiful, life can be peaceful. There's deep patterns that need to be interrupted, and I think that's another thing to be considering at this time, is that that's what I get from this, man. There's lifetimes of brokenness, like Atlantis, and then the Asunda. That's the reconnection. But that's what I take from that, is that there's lifetimes of fuckery that needs to be reconnected. So you can't do it all yourself. You're gonna need to do your very fucking best, lead by example, and help others do the work with you as well, and encourage them actively. Be a good leader. And that's our best fucking shot. That's really all we can do. And if y'all have suggestions, ways that we can improve, absolutely let me know, because that's what this energy is about, is that there's no fucking shortage of the work. So you can martyr and sacrifice yourself to hell and back, man. So let's not do that. Let's find our limits, work within them, ground and collaborate, and do it for everybody, basically. So we can keep our hearts in it all the time, keep our morale up, and not get burnt the fuck out, and always keep faith and optimism. Because everybody's got limits, man, and we are going to need to do this as a collective and knock this out as a group. That's really what I'm seeing, dude, because Virgo can be quite isolating as well. You know, Pisces is polar, so that's something to consider as well, is that, you know, your own healing may evoke some shame that you hold within you, and that might make it harder for you to connect with other people. And it may be better for you to open yourself up and let them in. And that suffering and silence might get self-defeating, or it might keep you stuck in certain patterns that might not be for your best and highest good as well. So I just want to say a big thing I'm seeing with deeply entrenched patterns, a message for the collective, is work on pattern interruption. Work on seeing what you've been doing and doing the opposite just for the fuck of it, man. The other day I found myself just opening circle backwards, you know. I found myself consecrating with the other hand, you know, just like simple shit like that. But interrupt your patterns, man, and get your mind in the habit of seeing how your unconscious is operating within your life. All right. That's going to provide a lot of freedom for you guys. I'm telling y'all, there's transformation happening within spirit. This is Jupiter retrogrades energy. I just saw they had Jupiter and fire. There's like Jupiter and water. So Jupiter is making us go back within to really reconnect and get our meaning back from life. So I just see a need for people to speak and express their truth and create something, because that's really what Virgo is about, is building off everything Leo has given us. So once we push past the fear, I think we're going to arrive really close to the thing that our heart wants us to do, or the service that needs to be done. And that's your ticket to a fulfilling life and recognizing why you came here. So I see a lot of genius movements going on, but a lot of this is going to be on a character level this week, you guys. So I send love to you all. I send peace to you all. I send positive energy to you all. I don't have too much else to say. I didn't cover the other planets, but let me just say, work your protection. We don't have any other ingresses besides, and yeah, work on grounding. We don't have any other ingresses besides the Lilith, but next week we'll be talking about Mercury and Venus and Mars and things like that. But not this week, man. It's Mercury, Virgo, which is thinking as we should, being smart about things, writing it down, planning more. Don't be overthinking. Don't be a perfectionist. We got Venus and Leo, which says love your fucking self. It's going deep in a conjunction with Juno. It is cuffing season. Don't get me wrong, man, and it's in full effect with this energy. But it's really something internal that you need to be providing at this time. So that's what Leo is about. And when it comes to Mars and Libra, we're fighting for love. We're fighting for truth. We're fighting for justice, and we're fighting for peace. And that sounds counterintuitive, but it's not. It's not redundant. It's necessary. You have to stand up and fight. You have to be able to wield both pillars, man. If you don't destroy evil, it might destroy your ass. And that's really the message I hate to give, but I'm tired of lying to y'all, truly. Because I'm tired of lying to myself. And I give messages because I want to truly help other people, but I've noticed that I want others to feel good, and I want them to like me, and I want a lot of things, man, but I don't want that shit as much as I want to be the fucking truth. All right? So what I've learned on my journey is that, yes, while evil will destroy itself, because I've said that before, that's the law of karma. That's reciprocity. You will eventually get what you give, and evil will eradicate itself. But many times that eradication is initiated by a righteous person who says, no more evil. I'm destroying this shit. So work your protection. And I hate to say it, but I love you. Don't pity yourself if you won't fight back. Just don't. Quit fucking complaining. Because other people got shit to do, man. My spirit guides made it clear with me the other day. They're like, bro, the moment you give up on yourself, the moment we stop helping you. That's just how the fuck it goes. If you're not fighting for you, we can't. And that's how your spirit guides are going to treat you, man. Nobody's here to save you. So you have to save you, man. On every level of correspondence, that's what leadership is about. And I know a lot of y'all are on the same vibration as me. I'm speaking to your soul. So just remember, man, when you protect life, when you protect purpose, it's going to protect you. These sacrifices will create abundance for you when you put them in the right direction, or do it for the greatest good of all. Have faith in yourself and just keep working on yourself, because like I said, and I spent a lot of time on this, y'all, it's deep ass work, and that shit is humiliating. It's fucking humiliating. And this is humbling your goddamn self. And we're going to be, listen, dude, 9 months from now, there's going to be, everybody's going to be completely different because of this Lilith Virgo. And you'll see yourself either be a much more humble and powerful person, or you'll see yourself get more angry and frustrated. And one is going to be growth, one is going to be regression. And you have to choose which one it is. And that's going to be a direct result of you participating in self-improvement or not. You blaming others or not. All right? You only have yourself to blame. You have to take full responsibility for your life and then move forward. And that's really what it is. And do whatever you can do to do that. And this comes from love. I want to see y'all do the best, man. So I hope that I was able to give you structure, accountability, and support with this video, because that's the keys to success. Oh, yes. Indeed. Blessed be. Blessed we. It's your boy, Mr. Meyer, with the fire, here to share ideas and take the collective vibration higher. I love your soul. My sole intention is to reconcile all paradox with love and truth. And I think I went in. So I'm going to leave y'all to it. Leave me a comment, leave me a like. I really appreciate it so much. Thank you guys so much for everything. Thanks for watching.